This team without Victor Robles, but it's certainly at least it sounds like 12 weeks, potentially worse if it doesn't go right. If it needs surgery, that's the season. It leaves two holes. Your leadoff spot, which was occupied by Julio last night. Tonight it's Dylan Moore. So I don't know if Dan's just seeing what works or if it's just going to be a fluid situation. So that creates a problem there. And right field. He's a very good defensive player. A little wild with the arm here and there, but gets the ball, as we saw, which led to the injury. So how do you manager Charlie Furbush does what?
Experiment, for sure. And this is the time to do it. So seeing Demo leading off tonight, I think it's great. He's been playing well this year. He's hitting the ball, which is what you want in the leadoff hole, someone to get the offense started. So seeing the experimentation kind of unfold in front of us will be fun to kind of watch. And honestly, it could invigorate this lineup. Like having a change of what they thought was going to be this season, and then, I mean, what a terrible injury. I mean, incredible catch from Robles. Like, I still, like, why is there a net there? Like, why? Like,
yeah,
you know, I'm like.
So the fans don't get
who's down there?
Take one off the melon?
But it should have been, like, if it wasn't there, I don't think he's not nearly as hurt as he is.
No, he just goes into
like,
people.
Does a flip over, and his feet go over his head, and he lands, and
he's like Derek Jeter, gets up with a cut on his nose, and he's a superhero.
Yeah, but I mean.
Yeah, or maybe a concussion or something.
Yeah.
His head hits the ground. You'd take that over shoulder, right?
You know, I mean, I'm sure it felt like, you know, playing football, getting tackled by someone, just fully stopped, right? Like full speed, and then I get hit by a wall.
Get bent backwards.
Get bent backwards, man. Yeah. That was nuts. But, yeah, it's going to be a tough gap to fill. I do think there are some people that can fill that gap. Dylan Moore is one of them. You know, I also have been really kind of liking the way Ryan Bliss is coming along. I feel like he's really getting more comfortable, and to see that home run last night, I think it's going to give him more confidence. So maybe have him at the end of the lineup still kind of be that spark plug is going to be a good thing. So we'll just kind of see how it unfolds. But I do think when your team is challenged, it forces you to kind of reevaluate what you wanted to do when you were, you know, going into the season. So maybe this allows them to find another avenue and ultimately have more success than what they've had this so far.
You got to be a little crazy to run into the wall the way he did, Robles. And we were just talking about Thornton. Like, I think some of the craziest people make really good players. You know, we talk about Devin Witherspoon. Devin Witherspoon he's a little nuts. I mean, he is like constantly talking on the field, and you hear that about Robles too. You ever play with a guy that was particularly nuts?
There's a couple guys that come to mind that were just, like I like to say, they were off their rocker. You know what I mean? Just like, you know, out there, you know, the first one that comes to mind was a former teammate I actually got along with quite well, but man, what an interesting character. He only played for us for 2 years, I think, was Logan Morrison.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Lomo. Man, what a gem of a human being.
Didn't they throw him into the leadoff spot a couple times?
Yeah, I mean, but he's an intense human being. So there's always that. I mean, I'm sure you felt the same way, Dave. There's always one guy in the clubhouse in the locker room that's totally different than everyone else. Crazy or weird. There's always one guy on your team that, which I think is also like the uniqueness of sports, that there's so many personalities that go into it, and there's always going to be the odd duck in the room, but doesn't mean he's a bad player or a bad teammate. He's just a different guy, right? You know, and it's just always interesting to bring these guys together and see if you can, you know, stir the pot up together and get to the playoffs.
So would you stick with a guy for a few games in a row at that leadoff spot, or do you like – I was a little surprised that they switched it after just one night, and who knows what's behind it. Maybe Julio said, I don't want to be there, or I don't know. But I would think – if they're looking for the replacement there, unless they're just committed to a platoon, hey, we'll just any given night it's going to be one of four different guys. Wouldn't you leave a guy in for 5 games, 6 games? All right, let's see what he does. Let's just make it his spot for the next week and just reevaluate after that.
Absolutely, and knowing that you're going to put this guy in everyday opportunities, he's going to know that his leash isn't 3 at-bats. Right? It's like that's the thing that's tough, is that hitting's already so hard, and if you don't have time to build up momentum and consistency, and you don't have opportunities that align with that day after day, then you can kind of get behind the 8 ball and feel like, okay, now I'm pinch hitting in the 8th inning. I'm facing, you know, the hardest thrower out of the bullpen. Like, okay, good luck. That's going to be a tough one to kind of, you know, figure out. So, yeah, it's certainly certainly interesting.
When does it get? I know we probably adjust this conversation because we probably asked you this last week, but like right now, can you get any kind of a feel for this team? The one thing I was talking about recently, they've struck out less over the last 4 or 5 games. I mean, I think they started off with 41 strikeouts in that first series. So that feels like it's calming down a little bit and it's getting a little bit better. Do you think that can take effect, or is there anything positive that you're looking at right now that, you think you can project forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think it still kind of goes back to the pitching staff, right? I mean, the pitching staff is what's going to be the anchor to this team. So, I was certainly just continue to be impressed by Logan Gilbert and his evolution and what he's done. So, and then you double down with Munoz at the end and just looking sharp as ever. So, but yeah, I really think the pitching staff is the anchor to the team, and it's just a matter of finding a little bit of momentum and consistency across the offense that allows them not to, be always in tight games or always trying to come back. I mean, it's just hard to win games when you're always trying to get back to even, or I'm down 2. We got to get back to tying the ball game so we have a chance to win. And yeah, it's we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think the pitching staff again is lights out. So.
Any concern with Polanco? He's missing his 3rd game in the last 4. He had something with his side. I don't remember specifically. Do you remember what it was, Lefko, that Polanco
It was the oblique muscle.
Is it the oblique?
It was a couple of things now, it sounds like, because there was something with the side and now the oblique, which maybe that was the oblique over the weekend too, in addition to the knee. So, yeah.
No, I'm definitely concerned.
Yeah, I mean, right now he's your best hitter. And you can't that bat's got to be in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean your record would be worse without him.
Yeah,
like no doubt about it. So yeah, I am concerned, and the side injuries, oblique injuries, they're really kind of touchy, right? It's as a rotational athlete that has to swing regularly and swing with, max effort, if you will, to make contact. If there's any sort of hesitancy and you don't feel right, it can go south quick, and then. I think it's a good thing right now that he's actually not playing every day just to get himself healthy throughout the course of the season. We don't, they don't need more guys going down. So, yeah, I think he's done a tremendous job, but the obliques are just tough. I know guys that get hurt and then they try to come back and then they hurt it again.
Right.
So it's like, how do you get it right the first time so that you don't have to worry about it the rest of the year?